Somebody said, Destiny, confront her about calling herself a femcel. You call yourself a femcel?
A femcel? No, not at all. I think we know these. Oh, I think this has to do. No, I'm not a femcel, but oh yes, about being involuntarily celibate. Basically, is that what they mean?
That might be one definition of it.
Oh yes, yes. Well, I've made a few videos about being involuntarily celibate, and that's, again, this isn't as big as it was made out to be. I was basically trying to just make a point.
Do you claim that you're an incel?
That I'm involuntarily celibate?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I don't want to be celibate.
Wait,
but
why?
I am.
But you could. Okay, so finish what you were going to say. Sorry.
The point I was trying to make, in so many words, was that I think that it's important for. Please stop.
I'm sorry. It's just one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. So I want to hear you. I'm just curious if you can build the bridge out to make that make sense.
Because you have a particular definition of being an incel.
Yeah, well, celibacy means not having sex, and involuntary means that even if you wanted to have sex, you wouldn't be able to, which doesn't make sense for like 95% of women on the planet. So I'm just curious how. Yeah.
No, I do disagree with that.
Okay.
Especially in this day and age, I do disagree with that. I think that I was trying to make the argument that, you know, incels actually have a lot more in common with normal people than they think. That in terms of this idea that incels are not able to get laid because they're just so undesirable and women are so picky and everything is not the case. Otherwise, you know, incels and femcels would have like hooked up by now. But instead, any woman who even tries to like put a toe into an incel forum is just kicked out. So I was trying to make that point more so, that, you know, if we just talk to each other, like, we get a lot further than where we're getting now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for that, but I still think that for women, if all you're looking for is sex, basically any woman in any first world country can download Tinder and find a guy in like 45 minutes.
Yes, but this is such a reductive idea about what sex is, and this is the problem, because incels think that if they have sex with a woman, that's going to solve all their problems. You know, sex is actually not just this idea of just putting your penis into a vagina and then somehow your world is just restored. Like, it's a lot of communication, talking, understanding the body and the physicality of the specific individual.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with any of that. But you'd be a volcel. You're voluntarily celibate, right? Because if you wanted to just bang somebody, it would be easy to do that. But you're not. No, but you're voluntarily.
I want to have sex with somebody, but I want to have actual sex with somebody, not this hypothetical.
Yeah, so you're looking for like a good, like a healthy relationship, and then for some sort of action to occur within like the confines of like a loving, romantic, healthy relationship, I imagine, right?
No, I don't even need that. I think I just want the sex to be good. You know, I want it to be, you know, a meaningful experience. I want it to be profound.
Well, yeah, so like within like the confines of like a loving, romantic, healthy relationship, no?
Yeah, if it ends up being like that, yeah.
Well,
sure.
okay, here's what I don't understand, because
I need like a.
Sure, but like you could download Tinder and you could have like 1,000 guys in your DMs tonight, right? You could probably find like good sex if you're just looking for good sex with one of them, I would imagine, right?
Good sex. I don't think so. No, I don't think good sex. I think just based on my particular situation, like, I haven't had sex in years. My last sexual experience was incredibly traumatic and just has stunted me as a human being. I'd have to get to know the person, like actually know them, actually develop some kind of connection before getting to that point, most definitely. And Tinder's not for that. And
it can be.
Yeah. I'm also not. Yeah.
You can chat. You can have conversations with people on Tinder. You can find like a lot of relationships and stuff. Even start on Tinder and everything. No.
Not a real conversation. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah. I feel
I'm
like
a Luddite. Maybe it's just because I just came to the social media smartphone game a bit late. But in terms of the conversations that I've had on dating apps, it's really it's a market. That is what it is, and it's not something that I think sex should be in. Hence my sort of opinions on pornography. I think that sort of creating a market around our intimate relationships and our private lives is what really undermines just everything in the long run. And so I don't think starting off from that foundation for the majority of people is a good thing. I don't think it's good for us to have so much access to so much potential choice. I think at the end of the day, it's just a false perception of having a lot of people and a lot of potential. It's like having 20 brands of the same ketchup. It's like, what do you choose? It just becomes more overwhelming than anything else. And
I mean,
don't
I
think it's a good
understand
thing.
what you're saying, but I feel like when I look at things like Tinder or dating apps, like, aren't these just formalizing markets that have kind of existed historically already? So, like, for instance,
no.
like when you go to like school or when you go to like work, like everybody's kind of like talking here and fucking here, and there's kind of like this is like the cool chat guy, and this is like the hot Stacy person, and this is the shy. Like, don't these kind of things like exist kind of naturally anyway? I mean, like, do you think that Tinder makes it that much more meaningfully different, or?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because this isn't just your school. This is every single school within your region with even more people, even
Yeah.
more possibility. And this is also people's profiles. You're effectively determining if you want to have sex with somebody's photograph and a very short bio. It's basically somebody trying to sell a product to you. It's not a real person. It's in no way conducive to, I think, creating the healthy relationships that people need, which are very specific to individuals, and I think very idiosyncratic in that way. You sort of can't replicate them in the way that online dating tries to, in presenting sort of women as X, Y, and Z and men as X, Y, and Z. And ultimately, I think we can just see this just in that typical statistic of what's it that all the Red Pill people quote about 80% of people on dating apps are men, and that women are also only interested in only 20% of the 80% of men.
Well, I mean, that's on dating apps. It's like 5-to-1 men to women, so that puts you in a good position. You're ready to rock. You got the pick
I
of the
don't think
litter.
so, actually. I think it's what I said about this sort of having so much choice, unrealistic choice. Nowhere in my real life would I have that kind of choice, whereas on social media or on dating apps, I would.
I think
And so
I think you have
ultimately,
the
I'm going to be more
choice.
picky.
I think you have
I'm
the
gonna be
choice in real life
horrible.
too, though. No.
I'm going to be dehumanizing of the men, which is not good.
Well, like, hold on.
I
You
really
said you
don't
worked.
think it's good.
You said you worked in a supermarket before, right?
Yeah,
You probably could have had sex with any of your coworkers if you asked them to. I would imagine.
me.
Oh man, hold. I'm getting black. You're blackpilling me right now. Oh my
No,
goodness. Yes, you. Yeah, of course. Do you not realize that?
no, I couldn't. I mean, I
Wait,
was
no, I
interested
don't
in
mean.
some of
Hold
my
on. Wait. I'm
coworkers,
sorry.
but
I don't mean like you
no.
would be necessarily interested in it. Like you would have the romantic connection. But if you propositioned any of your coworkers for sex, like 99% of them would say yes. Okay. Wow. We live in. One of us is living in reality, and the other one is on the moon right now. I'm not sure.
I'm not on the moon.
I feel pretty grounded on planet Earth right now. Fuck.
So do I,
If I was in
actually.
London, we should do.
I really d- I
Hold on,
really
wait.
don't-
I'm just curious. Or sorry, no, go. Say your thing. Don't let me cut you off. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Hold on. Well, we're not gonna talk. If you were on the
I
street,
don't even know how to respond
yeah.
to
If you,
this,
I'm just
actually.
curious. If you were on the street and you're standing there and you're polling guys and you're like, and you just ask a stranger, would you have sex with me? What percentage of men walking up and down the street, if you asked them that question, what percentage of them do you think would say yes?
Well, I do need to consider things like race in my situation.
Wait, no. I mean,
That
not for
already-
you willing to fuck them, but just them. If you just ask like a stranger on the street, men are walking by of all creeds, all races, all religions, all whatever, and you ask them like, "Hey, just curious, if I said like, do you want to go get a hotel room and bang? Would you be interested?" What percentage, roughly speaking, of men do you think would say yes? I'm just curious. In your mind, I have a number in my mind. I'm curious what you think that number would be.
40%.
Jesus, wow. Okay. In my head, that number is
I
closer
think
to
I
like.
have more faith in men than you do.
Well, that number is actually like 90 to 95%. 40%.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez. Interesting.
don't you think that men can be picky? I think men are very picky. I mean,
Absolutely not. Even
What?
the most giga chatted guy that you've ever seen has fucked women that he's too embarrassed to tell his friends about. Like everybody, yeah. When it comes to sexual selection for men, go talk to all the red pillars or any of the self-proclaimed dating, whatever. Yeah, like men's standards for sex are way different than their standards for dating. I think that for women, they tend to align a bit more closely. I think the question that I ask women is like, of the last like 5 men you fucked, how many of them would you be willing to date? I feel like most women would say like probably 3 to 5. But if you were to ask men of the last 10 women you fucked, how many would you be willing to date? Their number would be like 1 to 3.
Okay. I can see defeat. I agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that. I think I personally have a very different perspective of sex. I think for me, sex is far more profound an experience and an encounter.
Which is fair, which is
okay,
fine. There's nothing wrong
okay.
with it. That's and even if I'm being sexist, that's like the woman answer, which is fine. That's the answer that I think a lot of women would give is like, because but the reason why I think God, fuck, I'm like being red pill right now. The reason why women are more selective, though, is because I think men are the ones that tend to chase the sexual experience more, and women are the ones that tend to be a little bit more guarded about it because they can get it whenever they want, right? Like, I think most women, like, if you wanted, this is why when you say incel, it's kind of a weird thing, because if you wanted to have sex tonight, you could hop on any dating app and you could fuck like 20 dudes tonight, and you could get like free dinners and fucking $20 from everybody. Like you get gifts while doing it. It would be that easy. But for guys, it's not the case. It would be challenging, even for like really chatted out dudes. If you're just hopping on a dating app, you'd still have to put in a bit of work to find that experience. But yeah,
I would push back a bit on that, because I think with pornography, that's sort of taken women out of the equation in terms of that chase.
That's so not true. And it is okay. Now I understand where you're coming from this. So now I'm gonna push you harder back to this. Absolutely not. Pornography is never a substitution for sex for men. I don't think. You might jerk off because of whatever, but a lot of like it is. I don't think it's a substitution at all. Sorry, God.
You don't think that some men think that, however, even though it isn't?
Absolutely not.
Just based on the proliferation of porn, just based on the consumption of porn, just based on the number of incels that we allegedly have in modern societies, you don't think that this is now seen as an alternative, like sex dolls, for instance?
Absolutely not. If anything, I think it makes you want the sex even more. I don't think that anybody's like,
really?
Oh, yeah. Like, you're like, oh, God, like, I really wanted to bang tonight, but thank God I've got my favorite porn video, and this will like last me for a week, so I won't think about girls. I think if anything, the porn makes you want it like even more. I don't think it's a substitute ever, not even close. No.
Okay, so then in that way, is sex then more profound for men?
Yeah, I think they enjoy the experience more than pornography. Yeah.
But differently to how women find it profound.
I think broadly speaking, men and women engage in sex a bit differently. So no, I think they would find it profound in different ways.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, 1 second. How are people saying Destiny's wrong? LOL. Fuck, I don't know why I'm muting to talk. Hold on, fuck, my YouTube chat, but I'll just say it to you. I don't care, fuck it. People are asking, how are people saying Destiny is wrong on this? LOL. It's because I think that when people think about porn being a substitution for sex, there is no way that you can have an opinion grounded in reality where you believe that, but porn being a substitution for sex is probably part of a bigger moral package that's been sold to you by somebody like Jordan Peterson or a Red Pillar, where they're telling you that porn is destructive against society for these different reasons, and part of that destructiveness is that it's poisoning men's ability to have a desire to navigate the world in a more masculine or aggressive manner. So when somebody thinks like, oh, porn is a substitution for sex, I think most people, I don't think they've thought through that opinion, because if you ask any male in real life, or if you actually look at behavior, that is just absolutely not true. But I think that it's part of a broader package of how people view the world. So they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, given the opportunity for a guy, like if he had the option to go and fuck a girl, and either was like a realistic proposition, or if he had the ability to masturbate to porn, he's not jerking off to porn. Like that's never happening. Like Abba in chat right now is disagreeing with me, and I didn't know this when I asked
Abba
Abba
from Abba and Preach?
Yeah, he's a fucking loser. Okay. But Abba in chat,
not.
he
He's
absolutely is.
absolutely right
He's
on
like
this.
FD
Thank you,
signifier,
Abba.
but even more of a fucking loser than him, okay? So Abba in chat is saying that Destiny's clearly wrong, but I actually specifically asked Abba, and this was funny to me, okay? I specifically asked you, Abba, on stream one day. I said, would you rather have the worst sex of your life or just say fuck it and masturbate? And for me personally, because I have access to sex, I would just masturbate. I don't give a fuck. If I think it's gonna be a bad sexual hookup, I'll just fucking jerk off and fuck the girl. Not fuck the girl. She can go home, okay? But you told me, you were like, nah, bro. You said, guys like sex so much, even if it's a bad sexual experience, the guy would rather have sex with the girl than just go home and jerk off. You said that. I got you saying that in 4K on stream, motherfucker. So don't contradict yourself now. Okay, sorry, I'm back. But yeah, I don't think that, because I wonder how we would pull around this or what we would find, but like, given the opportunity, do you think that if you had the opportunity to go out and chase a girl, do you really think any amount of porn could like seduce a guy away from going after like a girl that he knew he could realistically fuck?
Yes, definitely. It's so much easier. You just turn on your screen and it's right there. There's no challenges. There's no having to get ready, to get dressed, to go out. There's no insecurity involved. There's no judgment. And I think that's what we all fear, rejection and judgment. And I think now more so than ever, especially with young men in modern societies and with modern women, or at least the stereotype of, you know, the picky, entitled modern woman, I think it's definitely a very convenient substitute. And I think a lot of people, even if it isn't realistically a substitute or a sufficient substitute in the long term, I think now for a lot of young people and a lot of, I guess, men who are sort of disenchanted with their relationships or what have you, they can convince themselves that it is a sufficient enough substitute. It's easy, it's quick, you can get the job done, you can just get that release that you need. And so I do think so.
So yeah. I agree with what you're saying, that going out and talking to somebody doing all that can be shitty. That, like, I agree with that. But whether you have porn or not, I don't think changes that. Like, if you're like a really shy guy and you don't want to go out and put the work into getting a woman, like, you won't do that. It's not like if you take porn from those people, they're all of a sudden like, well, can't look at porn. I'm about to go fucking hit the gym. I'm about to go out and confront my fears. I don't think that ever happens. I think if you take the porn, I think their situation is the exact same. Now they're reading erotica, or they're just masturbating in their bedroom. Or they just don't masturbate at all and they queue up an extra game of League of Legends. I don't think that porn like takes away your ability to go and chase. I think that just happens to be one of the things people do if they stay home. And then also, when we say like picky, entitled modern women, aren't modern women like fucking more than like women ever have in like fucking history? I feel like the women today, especially with like birth control and shit, wouldn't they be less picky or less entitled when it comes to just sex?
And that's
than
what
they were
I said about
historically?
the stereotype. I think a lot of the people who I'm talking about, who sort of who I would associate as being sort of seeing pornography as a substitute for actually going out there and sort of facing the beast. I think they consume the kind of red pill content which portrays women as this sort of caricature. And I think that just feeds into the fear or the aggression or the disillusionment that I think modern men and modern women are increasingly sort of finding themselves polarized from each other and understanding each other, empathizing with each other, and communicating with each other. I think all of this is just about basic communication, which we really just have lost. And I think the internet just contributes to that. And I think porn contributes to that, especially, I'd say with the average woman in terms of their introduction to sex. I think it was a pretty unpleasant experience because I mean, mine was basically being treated like a sex doll, and then I saw porn. I was like, oh, okay, so this is why that happened, and so I think it is a contributing factor to that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Gotcha. Probably disagree a lot on this point, but I think we've kind of gotten to our disagreements.